Welcome to another episode of the Moz House podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Begun, and I'm here with our current artist in residence, Noel Maghathe.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm glad I said your name right. Only take 3, but worked out. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rested, relaxed, and excited to talk.
Oh, good. I'm glad. A lot of people that come by, stay at Moz House, always feel, towards the end, they're always like, I feel so nice and rested now. So, what's like your normal day's life that's the difference then? Or what's the difference between where you usually have to make your art versus here?
Yeah, back home, I'm based in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I feel like I'm typically running around a lot.
What do you call it? We're melting. I almost said we're boiling the wax.
Boiling the water, melting some wax.
Well, I guess that's a good segue into the next part of the question is how, what kind of art do you make? What do you do?
Well, I feel like a lot of different things, but I applied to, sorry, I keep moving.
It's okay. You can move around a little bit. Don't have to be like stiff.
I was gonna say, sorry. I applied to Moz residency with some of recent work that I've been working on, that I've been using beeswax to create sculptures that I also consider performances when they're burning. And so that's kind of what I've been working on here. But I also consider myself a performance artist. I use my body a lot in my work, and time as a piece of, like, a factor in my work. And then I'm also a curator.
Very cool. I just noticed you have a beeswax mini sculpture over there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you describe it?
This was just something I was playing around with. During my time here, I've just been really having fun, and I'm kind of eager to see how much I can draw. Like, when people ask me what I make, I kind of like to say that I'm drawing with the wicks and then hand dipping to kind of create weight within the lines. And so what you have in your hand is a flower, just a very basic drawing, like cartoon child drawing of a flower, but in sculptural form. And like, maybe, I don't know how thick you would say those lines are, like 2 centimeters or something thick.
It kind of reminds me of, it's a flower, but it reminds me of that game with the Plants vs. Zombies. You know what that is? This seems like one of those guys that would like do something in that game.
Yeah.
Very nice. So talking about being a performance artist, and in my extensive research, not really that extensive, but in my research, I saw that you, or read that you had a thing where you were like in a tree with like wires with the grapes.
Yeah.
How did you even come up with that?
Oh, that's my piece, Reaching. And I like to say that I recreated grapevines from my grandmother's backyard in Palestine. Mm-hmm. And so this piece was kind of, I don't know, a letter to her, but just had a lot of layers to it. But I came up with that work with many different factors. I was dealing with some chronic pain in my arm, and so I was trying to make work that wasn't solely focused on my arms. So in that work that you saw, I'm using my feet I created a pulley system through the twine and through the reconstructed grapevines. It's a pulley system with twine and grapes tied to the twine, and at the other end I tie my foot to it, and through the movements of my foot I lower the grapes to my mouth, and I feed myself all the grapes that are on the twine and on the...
Again, I have no idea how you could have possibly come up with that, but it's good. I guess it stems from having your arm hurt, so you can't. You're like, well, I have feet, so I can use that.
Yeah, and it also has like this yearning sense. So it's called Reaching, and it's me like literally reaching. There there's layers of like this luxury sense of being fed grapes, but this self-reliance underneath that, in this sense of me feeding myself the grapes and not needing anyone else in that sense. And yeah, just kind of this yearning for home.
Wow. Turns out to be a much deeper performance than when I originally read it. I was like, oh, I never would have thought about doing this myself. That's so interesting. Which I really liked it, because everyone thinks so differently and has like creative ideas. And when I see things that like, I never would have come up with this in a million years. I'm always like, wow.
Yeah. I had an interactive piece where I let people one day actually tie their foot to the pulley system and feed themselves whatever I had available. Cool. So too bad I didn't do something like that here. You would have been able to try it out. Yeah.
Really, I wonder if I even would have been able to do it. I kind of like, I could like move my toes around, kind of, but not really that well.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy's entering the premise. That's okay. So how did you really get into doing performance art?
I would say I would give credit all to my old professor and good friend Lindsay Whittle, who introduced performance art into my life. And I don't know, I guess 2015 or 2016. I was focused mainly on sculpture at the time. But I think I always had performance work subconsciously in there without realizing. The process of work has always been more important than the final outcome. And for me, that like ties back to performance work in a lot of different ways. But my professor and friend Lindsay Whittle, who also goes by Sparklezilla, in Spacow with her partner Clint Bassinger, who runs the Space Peak Gallery in Covington, Kentucky. She introduced me and gave me so many different avenues and amazing prompts to really expand my mind in different ways of creating, and helping me understand that I can create in different forms that are more than just physical and focus more in the moment in time. And that's something that I like woke up thinking about, just like ephemeral thoughts of moving moments. And I really enjoy the idea that something is there just for that moment and it's gone after that.
Very interesting. So I was reading your bio, artist bio, and one thing that I'd never seen before were when I looked it up and I couldn't figure out what it was. The only thing that came up was a picture of you. Actually, when I looked up, it was queer functionality tools. And so I looked it up, and it was just a picture of you at Ma's house. So I was like, what the heck? I was like, what on earth is going on here? Why can't I figure this out? So I had to ask. So now I have to ask.
Yeah, I feel like that's a term I made up on my own, just kind of trying to understand my work. It came along a little bit like from the piece Reaching, but also from another piece that I created titled Mitosis, where I just felt like a lot of my performances contained objects or some type of system that had an extra layer of structure to it that was helping me and guiding me through the work in some type of way. And so I don't know, queer tools and navigating the world with these tools, I don't know. That just, for me, that made sense. But I don't know if I could fully explain it more than that. Okay.
Because there is a lot of different ways I was interpreting it at the time.
Yeah, please share.
So I was like, okay, so maybe this means, like, since you make sculptures, maybe they're using tools that are, like, made by people, like a queer-run company or something. It's like, that's possible. And then I looked it up. And then I just saw a picture of you, so it's like, this makes no sense. Why do I have no research skills? I should have finished college. And then I was like, oh, God. So, and then I just was like, maybe it's the tools that they have. And then in their life, they just develop tools to, like, do stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, that's definitely not right. But maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that, like, the great piece with the pulley system, I created
that's a tool.
Created this piece Mitosis where I created a bodysuit with levels on it, and so me and my performance partner would we did this performance specifically at the Cincinnati Contemporary Arts Center. So we were working with Zaha Hadid's architecture of this really beautiful structure of this building. And so we were influenced by that in many ways, but we used these suits to use each other's body to measure, to level us within each other, within the architecture. And then I also created, which I'm trying to gain funding for in the future to like recreate, maybe have someone professionally, a shoemaker, make this. But I handmade, I thrifted a shoe, and I did some of my own research to create like a paintbrush that was attached to my shoe so I could paint text on the ground while performing. And the piece, I performed it in 2019, but the shoe broke in the middle of the performance because it wasn't a very structurally sound piece, because I'm not a shoemaker. So I don't know, stuff like that makes me think of like queer functionality and like queer tools in the sense of like unusual, but also queerness within like myself in that way. So it's like, I don't know. Hopefully that gives you a little more understanding of that made-up term.
I think I'm closing in on the true meaning. That shoe sounds so complex. Like how, like that's like future technology. You take a step and you kind of like write stuff.
It had like extra. It was basically like a shoe, but had like an extra 2 inches on the toe part that was a brush.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of how I think I would have done it.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
Oh, yeah, if you can pull it up, I'd love to see that.
It's the pictures.
So the only thing I'm not very much into fashion and all, but I love shoes.
Okay. Well, this isn't like. Oh, I did paint the shoe too, but that was kind of all I did. So.
Oh, that's nothing.
It was actually less than an in. It was actually underneath, kind of more like you were thinking, I think. But, it was only the left one or right one. Right shoe. It wasn't the left one. But I'd love to collaborate with a shoemaker to like get like this professionally made to where I could perform with it in the future.
So cool. It's so interesting. Another idea I never would have had ever.
And this work was inspired by like the Hurafiyya movement, which is focused on like calligraphy within Arabic, and also just my connection to the language. I'm not fluent in Arabic, and so me trying to connect back to those roots and connect back to that language for me through this movement was like really important to me and pivotal in a way of like making language learning for me like more enjoyable and more connected to the body, as well as like learning to write poetry in a different language. So I wrote a poem out with my foot in a language that I'm not fluent in.
That's pretty awesome. I'll say I can barely write a poem. I can maybe do a haiku in English.
Yeah, it was a pretty short poem.
It's still better than nothing. I've also apparently. I always thought that English, when I was younger, because I was a fool, I was like, English is the most complex language. Because it is very weird and hard to do. But then I was like, oh my God, these other languages. And then people trying to translate things into English, like, this isn't as amazing as I thought it was going to be. But in the real, actual language, it is the words they have to describe things are far more beautiful than we have in English. And I feel like English has lots of random words in it that describe things, but still just pales in comparison.
No, I totally agree. And
as soon as you get out of America, you get some very nice poetry. Some. I mean, there's going to be good poets everywhere. And the poet, Laudia, they have some special poet. There's like an American poet that's like, you're the best. And I forgot, they were here. They had an event here. Why can't I? Oh, man. Okay, I might cut that out of the podcast. Okay. I wasn't here for the event.
No worries.
The poet laureate, I want to say. It's like Loud.
I'm not great on, like, poets. But I don't know.
The name's not laureate. It's like what they just call the poet.
Okay.
It's like their
type of
their title.
Yeah, I'm a part of the Palestinian youth movement, and I'm a part of the Ghassan Kanafani arts anthology group, arts resistance group, and so he's a poet and a famous writer within Palestine, and so right now I'm currently designing our book for our youth artists for our anthology, and so that's something that I've also been working on here, but also just...
That's pretty cool. Books are... I can't imagine what it'd be like to like design a book. Let people start. I mean, I have my notebook. Kind of seems like a look into the mind of a deranged person.
Stop.
And it makes it. What makes it worse is that the pieces of my notebook fall out, and I just put them back in random places.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so if anyone was like try to read it one by one, they'd be like, "This doesn't make any sense at all."
Oh no.
This is bizarre. This person needs to go away for a little while. And then there's just a bunch of numbers. So I'll read a little bit. FB, parentheses, 0.025. Focal F,
Okay.
0.17.
Nice,
And just a bunch of like
nice.
random...
Camera settings or something? Or
That, yeah, I think dirt seed, number 9.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think those are numbers from an edit I had to do to make things look like old.
Mm-hmm.
Like really old footage
Oh,
to me. Like I think
nice,
the dirt is
nice.
like, you know, like in the old movies when little like black dots would like appear. I think the dirt seed 9 is how often they show up.
Okay.
9 must
Wow.
have been good. Dirt density was only 5.
Wow.
Yeah, did that on July 11th. Wow.
At least you dated them. You can put them back
That
in
time,
order.
none of the others.
Okay.
Just
Sometimes I date my stuff, or like I've been putting Ma's house on certain notes on my sketchbook just to remember that that's where I was when I was here or something. But
I think like there's a lot of artists do have like sketchbooks, even if they don't draw particularly,
Yeah.
but
no, a lot of mine is text, and honestly, like more math than I like to admit. Yeah,
maths. I like math. It's
I don't.
you don't like, not a fan?
No. I didn't think art would involve so much math for me.
So much.
Yeah.
I mean, my art doesn't involve too much of it, except for like, let's see, I made that Ma's house.
The painting?
The painting, yeah.
It's so nice. I was just looking at it,
Were you
actually. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I made
that.
a Ma's house. Let me show you it. But what is that, like watercolor or acrylic? Or?
It's graffiti, actually. So, well, spray paint, not graffiti. But
But like a stencil.
oh my god, that's so cool. I was gonna so me and Jeremy's birthday's in like 11 days. We had the same birthday.
Oh.
June 20th. And I was gonna make him like out of cardboard. So that's what I did for that.
Nice.
I just had a piece of paper, and then I cut out stencils, and I just sprayed it over. But that was like math proportion wise. I had to like print things bigger out, and then just like do a bunch of cutting, make sure everything was right. And then so I wanted to make like a little model out of cardboard of Ma's house.
Yeah.
And you already beat me to it, so now I'm upset.
Sorry. Well, you can use this to help you, I guess. It's not like it did lose some of the shape as I continue to dip and try to gain structure. Like obviously these windows are not supposed to be touching, and same with this one, or the door and window.
I mean, they have to be touching though, right?
They have to, because I couldn't let them. Yeah.
They can't just float there.
Exactly. But see, this has like a small connector here, and same.
Oh, I see.
And same down
Connector.
here, as well as here's a little more messy, but.
Still, the fact that you're able to make that out of wax is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was just seeing how I feel like. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I feel my skill in the 3 years now that I've like worked with beeswax. Yeah, I feel that my skill level with being able to like craft something out with the wicks has increased.
I mean, from where I can imagine people like would start, like if I started doing that right now, I'd say that's probably a significant improvement, more than significant. So, I mean, you have a lot of mediums. Seems, do you have, I always ask and no one ever gives me a real answer, but do you have a favorite?
Personally, I really love to work with plaster, which is, it's funny because some people during this trip, during my time here at this residency, have asked me like why I came to beeswax at some points, and I was creating plaster candle holders prior, but as I was mentioning, like the chronic pain that I was dealing with in my arm, I couldn't work with this material that required a lot of more labor to sand, to sculpt, and just kind of everything that was involved with it. So I ended up moving to wax and hand dipping as like this different kind of, hopefully less intensive medium that's semi less intensive. But yeah, I love plaster. It feels like alive when it's curing. It gets really warm at some point, and I don't know, something about sculpting with it and not using it for, I don't know, traditional, like, I don't know what even, like for home building or stuff like that. I don't know. Just sculpting with it. I don't know, something about the color of the material. I don't know.
It's interesting. Most artists would, I think they're lying to me, but they say they don't have a favorite. And you're like, I just love everything I do.
No. Maybe my favorites change. I mean, I love to try new stuff, but...
Which is my next question. I was going to ask you, what's another medium that you've been eyeing to try?
Last year for my birthday, I invested like a little bit into like a stained glass making kit.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I haven't given myself the time to like really work on that because it feels like a little dangerous. Like I feel like, I mean, I wear a mask and everything, but just wanting to learn more about the material. I'm not using like lead. They typically use like lead based soldering material, which I guess is normal, but that scared me. And so I'm using lead free soldering stuff. And
I wonder if there's a difference in quality. Like, is it because the lead's just better?
I think something about it holding up or something. It affects a couple different parts of the process, which I'm trying to like learn about since I'm beginning in it. But yeah, stained glass work is something I'm really interested in trying.
That would be really cool to try. Have you ever done any soldering before?
Just a little bit in like a couple workshops, but nothing more than that.
I have tried a couple times to solder electronics because it's a lot harder than it looks. It takes one little press, your hand shakes just a little bit and everything's ruined. Yeah, I had this plan to my cousin Ben, who was just born. For some reason, I'm like, I had to carry on the tradition and give Ben a Game Boy when he turns 5 years old. Aww. So, but the Game Boy, it's not in color and it's so old. So I was like, well, I could put on a new screen and make it colorful, like a nice.
That would be cool.
Generation of Game Boy.
Yeah.
And it's the same Game Boy that I was given.
That's so cool.
By Al. Then Jeremy gave me a bunch of games. And then I was going to give him one game. He just gets Pokemon. That's it. From me, at least. And then he has to buy his own. But yeah, so that's why I was like trying to learn to solder, to do that. And I was like, oh, God. So then I had to keep learning how to do it. So when I do use the Game Boy, I don't ruin the family heirloom that I've decided to create. And then he has to give it away to someone else next when he turns.
No, I love that.
Yeah. He finally gets a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to wait till I was 5. And then my sister threw it in the water bowl.
No.
Yes. Yeah. I have lots of funny stories from that damn Game Boy. Having to chase my sister Isabel down.
Aww.
Yeah, she used to be a demon, and then she would blame me for things. But what else are sisters for besides causing problems?
No.
Yes. Now we're friends, though, so
that's good.
All works out.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can talk more about art instead of Game Boys, I guess. How does your way of making art change when you're on a residency versus when you're at your own studio?
I feel like given this like dedicated, unrestricted like time and space, really gives me a time to slow down and not feel so rushed or like I need to complete something. I don't know. I was trying to come in with like a certain set of goals and I didn't want to give myself too much to work with. But at some point, I just told myself I just want to really play with the medium, have a conversation with it, and not really give myself too much pressure to have a outcome when I left. Where when I'm in the studio, I usually have like pretty specific goals that I'm trying to get done during my time in in my space. And then, yeah, I don't know. Just like you were saying, like most people during this time, they feel pretty rested. Like just the extra sleep I've been able to give myself during this time was really, I'm just so grateful for it. Just rest and like time to like really sit with the space, with the land, and I don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough. So, speaking of the land, have you been able to explore not only Shinnecock but the town of Southampton a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I haven't explored too much around because I know I wanted to like be respectful of like exploring on my own. But I've been like venturing around. I've been going to the water. I really love the water. So I've been like going to like one of the only free beaches that I could like find in the area.
Which one? Almost all of them are free after 5.
I did learn that. Yeah. Jeremy did tell me that. But like, which honestly, that was kind of around the time I was going. But I ended up going to this beach called Road D Beach. It's just,
what the hell is that?
I don't know, some Road D. There's like, it's like,
do I know that?
It's really dystopic, honestly, because there's like $1 million homes that you're driving past, and it's like on this, like the Shinnecock stolen land, and it's like really fucked up to think about when you're like driving past it. And sorry for cussing.
That's okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Thinking about that was like really weird, and just yeah, I don't know. As a Palestinian who's been to Palestine, you know, just a couple times in my life, but like understanding like the separations that we have in the land that we were given, I don't know. I have so many different feelings that I feel like I haven't really unpacked or processed yet. But just those connections between the land taken and the land that is thankfully that you guys still have, at least. It's just still, it's hard. And it's just really fucked up to see these like crazy homes. And
they are crazy. They are way beyond what anyone needs.
Yeah.
It's actually like truly bizarre. Just you go from here and you're like, oh well, there's a couple of like nice houses. People are we don't live in pure slums or anything.
No, it's beautiful here.
Yeah, but then you take a couple steps off the res and you see like the real deal super wealth from generations, and like maybe a couple like Jay-Z maybe has a house down, could afford a house here, like real billionaires.
Literally.
Oh, okay. So I think I know the answer to this question after reading other people ask you this a million times through your other interviews. But what are some of the things that inspire you to create art?
Yeah, I'm curious what other answers you got.
You want me to tell you some?
Sure.
One of them was just you named a bunch of people that I didn't know of. And I mean, that's not anything. That's nothing on them. I'm just not very well versed in that type of stuff. No,
it's all good.
And I was like almost going to go look all these people up, but there's like 5 or 6 of them. And I was like,
no worries.
No, thank you. I was like, I can't do research on everybody. But, and then you mentioned Palestine. Oh, let's see. And you mentioned people, places, and family. And I think those are the 3 things.
Yeah.
That I heard. Is there anything else?
I would say definitely, yeah, like, my family, my homeland, like, Palestine is a huge influence in my work. I've talked about this a little bit, just in a sense of, like, growing up in the Midwest, you know, a lot of people didn't know where Palestine was, even sometimes what Palestine was, just no information on it. We weren't taught it in school. And so just, you know, I felt this urgency to create work to educate people and to, you know, have them leave with more questions and wanting to connect back to Palestine and not only just educate, but also like shed light on the occupation and like everything that's been going on for the last 75 years. And yeah.
Very cool. I mean, I'm a big free Palestine type of person. Although I am Jewish, but I'm also Native American, so I'm like, this is basically what they did to my Native American people, but over there.
Yeah,
Palestine. It's just, well, I could say fuck Israel sometimes, but they be doing some crazy shit over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not okay. I mean, my dad was a child prisoner twice growing up, and, you know, just definitely, like, lots of stories within my family and friends who are still in Palestine, and, yeah, there needs to be accountability, and there need to be changes, and Palestinians deserve, you know, self-determination and freedom, and, yeah, what we've been going through is not okay. And yeah, I feel there are so many similarities between us and natives here in America, and how that, like, yeah, like, I'm a settler on this land, and how that goes with, like, within Palestine, and just, yeah, just that correlation between those, like, billion-dollar homes on the beach and the small piece of land that the Shinnecock Nation is given, and then, like, just the land that we're given in Palestine, and then you see the homes on the settlements just on the hill, and you just see them, and you're not given access to the rest of your land, and it's just such a weird, and really, it's a very comparative moment of just, like, I don't know, for me, like, the similarities in, like, our fights.
It is extremely similar, which is why I immediately was like, Israel's wrong for this situation.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know. I think that's why I definitely connected. I was like, this is basically exactly what happened to us.
Yeah.
And then, so very similar situations for sure, just in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if both things were resolved in the next week or something. That'd be
Inshallah.
cool. Like next week, all of a sudden, it's just all better. Imagine. It's great. So, one random thing. It was just like, things randomly happen in the world all the time, like the fires in Canada.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like thinking, like, you know, life's kind of like boring, like nothing happens, like just normal life. And then, I remember one day, me and my friend Casey were driving to Buffalo from Philadelphia, and he was like, Hunter, it was late, it's like an 9-hour drive. He's like, Hunter, do you ever just imagine like a giant hole opening up in the ground, forever changing your life into something crazy, like a crazy, like, just event? And then I was like, no, I don't. No, I was like, I mean, sometimes things happen. I'm not really sure why I'm starting this story, but, and then, like, next couple months, like, COVID happened. I was like, oh, Casey, you got what you wanted. There you go. And then, so, like, recently I was thinking the same thing. I was like, not that I want something to happen. I was thinking more, the outside world has, like, events that happen that affect my everyday life so often.
So
nowadays.
You caused the wildfires?
Not me, per se, but... Although I do have some family in Canada.
Oh no!
My Uncle David. My Uncle David may have started the fire, and if he did, he better run to America before it's too late. I think he has dual citizenship, or he better go back to France.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're gonna get him. I have nice stories from him too in Canada, but can't talk about all the craziness in the podcast. Okay. That's a nice story. I mean, I could, but no. Talk about more about your art. So, at this point, honestly, I feel like is there anything I should ask you about? Like, anything you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I feel like we covered a lot of different things, and I mean, I don't know. I really enjoyed my time here. I'm excited for my workshop coming up.
Yes, let's talk about the workshop. Monday, right?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday at the Bridgehampton Museum. And then Saturday, tomorrow, I'll be at the Watermill Center for their community day. I'll just have
you'll be there.
Table there and share some of my work in process. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you've asked me
good questions.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm getting kind of good at this.
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I have a couple more questions. I'll do 2 more questions, and then we can play. Actually, did I even come up with an idea for the game? And then I'll think of a game for us while you're answering the questions. Okay, so like when you were becoming an artist, or when you realized you wanted to be an artist, did you have like a dream where you're like, I want to be this famous, or like have this much money, or like cause this change?
I don't know. I might have. I do have a bad memory, so I could have definitely thought of something that I can't remember now. But thinking about it now, in a sense, like, I feel like there wasn't any specific goal. It was more so that when I first decided, I really enjoyed drawing, and I just wanted to be an artist, go to art school and learn more. And now I don't really draw, but yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, that's not a good answer.
No honestly, I get that same answer a lot. It's like they didn't have a dream.
Damn. Okay.
Some people just don't. They're just
no dreams for me.
One person that was on the podcast said I wasn't allowed to dream, and
damn.
I was like, what? I mean, like, I understood, but
no, I get that. Yeah.
I am also like, I'm very lucky to be able to dream. I guess I didn't know people really like that was the thing, how they felt like I wasn't allowed to have dreams, but I guess they were just put in a box or something.
Yeah, no, I guess I could relate to that in just a sense of like my parents weren't super supportive, and I mean they don't necessarily fully understand what I'm doing now even, but ultimately they did come around and they are supportive even though they don't understand, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Same. My parents were not for art at first, which is crazy because my entire family's artist. And then they're like, nope.
Yeah.
Not you, Hunter. But
Sorry, Hunter.
You're a businessman. I was like, I am definitely more money oriented than a lot of artists I have to work with, which is good because a lot of people don't value their work as much as they should.
It's so hard.
And then like my aunt Denise, she'll spend like 30 hours beating one thing and then be like, okay, this is $60. I'm like, no, this is $7,000.
Literally.
Maybe. At the least.
Yeah.
7,000. So like at powwows, I'll do like all the sales because
that's good.
That's just fun. But they wanted me to be like a marketing person at school, and then I left, and then I was like, they're like, you have to go back to school, and I was like, okay, I'll go to art school. And they're like, no, you're not going to art school. But now they're like, okay, worked out. So now they're fine with it. That, especially now that I work here, so can't be mad at me working here.
No.
It's Ma's house.
Yeah.
You'd be upset with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, no dreams over there too. Let's see. I had a dream. I was like, I want to direct a Batman movie. So that's kind of how I started down.
I love that.
I just want to make TV, but then I was like, I want to do Batman. I think that would be the end goal. Become trusted enough director that they'll let me do a Batman Beyond movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
That would be really cool.
Okay, so I guess the last question I'll ask you is, do you have any questions for me? Because I just asked you 45 minutes worth of questions. So now's your chance to get me back.
That's so hard for me to think of a question. You already shared what your dream was.
It doesn't have to be art related.
What's your favorite food?
Oof. It's a hard one. I would say first thing pops in my head is coffee ice cream for some reason.
Oh,
I think that's really good.
Need to.
But you can't have that every day.
Ice cream.
I guess you could have that every day.
You could.
You just gotta not have a ton of it every day.
Yeah, like a spoon a day.
Yeah. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one thing I'll share with the because I just popped in my head.
Yeah.
So like I think I mentioned it for a moment, but I'm supposed to wear hearing aids. I don't wear them because they're uncomfortable.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, it led to a lot of me mishearing things. Mm-hmm. And so it's a hard life. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, Mom used to always say, when I was like upset, she'd be like, it's a hard knock life. But I thought she said thought she was doing not jokes. Like, it's a hard not life for you, Hunter. And I was like, why do you keep saying that to me? Why are you making fun of me? But
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, there's so many things like that in my life, like the pristine chapel. That's not really it. The 16th, what's that chapel with the finger?
Uh-huh.
I used to always I thought it was like the pristine or the 16th chapel.
Yeah,
Is it the 16th chapel?
I think, yeah.
I thought it was the pristine chapel. That's why I get people's names wrong so often.
No, you're totally fine.
I'll hear, or like one of my favorites is I'll read something I never had heard anyone say before, and then I like try to use the word, and then it's like so butchered. They're like, "What is wrong? Like, what are you saying, Hunter?"
That's okay.
Please.
No worries.
Yeah, that's how I cope with that. Just make fun of it. Nice jokes. That'll be my backup plan. Will be a stand-up comedian. All right, so I guess that's about it. We can play our game, and then I'll give you some time to shout out anything you want.
Okay.
I gave you like a little piece of crap paper.
Yeah,
right?
you
I don't
did.
know
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
You have a pen too?
Yep.
Let me rip a piece of paper out of my notebook. No wonder why this shit is messed up. Okay, well now I have to think of our game real quick. I would say let's do 5 picks so we both go back and forth. So this is becoming a staple in the Mom's House podcast.
Love it.
So you get the first pick, and then I go, and then you go, and so forth and so on. So let's see. You can pick 5 animals. This is going to be a weird one. I'm sorry. But 5 animals that, if they could make wax, we would combine to create a giant wax sculpture.
Oh my god.
Does that make sense? So, like, if you wanted a kangaroo, the kangaroo now you can make kangaroo wax.
Oh no, that's a really nice question. I feel like shit.
So you would just pick an animal that type of wax you'd want, and then you maybe can give it a property. You'd be like, this wax is as strong as steel or something, or something.
Okay.
Like, or kangaroo wax because you could hit someone in the head with it really good, like Kangaroo Jack, something like that situation. Okay, so you get the first pick. This would be called the wax tax.
Wax tax?
Wax tax bracket or draft. I'm not sure why I said wax. Nothing to do with taxes, but. And then at the end, you have to all you're doing is you imagine what your sculpture would turn into with that type of wax. And you can describe it to the people. All right, so the first pick.
Wait, so the first pick is just the type of wax and then we change it, or all 5 different types of wax?
The first pick is just one type of wax.
Okay.
One animal wax.
Okay. Bird.
Bird wax?
Bird wax. Birds are so versatile, man. I get a bowerbird. Bowerbird, please. Bowerbird wax, please.
Bowerbird wax? Because
bowerbirds are builders. And so if they had wax to work with as they built, they would be their endless possibilities of creating would be amazing. So bowerbird wax.
So it's like a nesting wax.
Not nesting necessarily. You gotta look.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you a bowerbird while you give me yours.
Okay, let's see. So for my first pick, the 2023 draft, I will take. I did mention the kangaroo. Kangaroo do seem like they have nice wax, but I think a wombat. I'll take a first pick wombat wax. Oh, those things?
Yeah, these birds create these wild sculptures that are like for basically trying to get a mate or something, but I love their attention to detail.
Okay, so that wax is perfect for sculpting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking the wombat
The wand bat?
Wombat.
Wombat, sorry.
The wombat. The wombat.
I'm also, my hearing is...
The wombat
Okay.
wax. That's what it's called. Wombat wax is known for its deceptively powerful properties. Those are just words are stringed together. And it can withstand... It repels all hair. Hair repellent.
No way. That defies all logic through the wax. This is some very fancy wax that
It's
cannot
very
hold
powerful.
hair.
It's powerful.
Wow. Okay, so what's the second one?
Second pick, you can pick another wax to go in, or you can pick a supportive material. I'm probably going to do another wax to combine with my wombat wax. Maybe you could pick an outline as your second pick, like a flower outline, but it would be something more.
I'm going to just choose sticks because the bowerbird works with sticks.
I see.
Can I say sticks and flowers or no?
Sticks and flowers? Maybe like a branch? You get a nice, but that's a pretty big stick.
Can I?
You can get sticks, or you can get third pick. It might have to be. You're gonna have to decide which
sticks,
one's more powerful.
Sticks. That's fine. Sticks. We got sticks for the structure.
Okay, and let's see. For my second pick, and the wombat wax is good, but I can't believe I even fell down this far. I'm tempted to take beeswax, just so, but because then I can say this is none of your beeswax. But I'll refrain and go with. So I have like a marsupial. I feel like I need another type of animal to combine, and I'll go with seal. Some seal wax. And the properties of the seal wax, they work very well with the wombat wax because it keeps the wax very moist, and if it's underwater, you can do whatever you want with it. And then once you don't even need a base since it's basically zero gravity in there. You can do whatever you want with it, and it doesn't get messed up because it's seal wax. And then once you take it out, it dries out completely, instantly.
Okay.
Well, so it works well in the water.
Wow. Yeah, because sometimes when I first started doing wax, I would dip it in some cold water to be able to dip it immediately back in some hot wax.
That'd make like another layer, right?
Yeah, but for me, I didn't like this process because I don't know, something between the layers. So that sounds like a nice wax that would be able to be used for that.
A highly useful wax, thank you.
Hydroponic wax.
That'd be good. I mean, I need to start making these.
Yeah.
All right, you get the third pick.
Third pick, I feel I gotta do something. But during COVID, I got into bird watching. I'm not like super educated, but I love birds. So this is gonna be like a bird themed answers here today. So something in terms of weight, something. Maybe string so I can tie up the work to be hanging.
What type of string?
Like when you're in the forest, you see the vines, like that. That's what I want to use.
Okay, nice vine string. Very rare, very powerful.
Yeah, very string like. Vines that are powerful.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Were you part of a bird watching group?
No, I've tried to join the local ones in my area, but I never make it on the days they go out. So it's more so a solo project where I like consider it like a scavenger hunt. When you hear the bird call, you have to find it in the forest. And so
sounds
like
funny.
It's
You just like when the bird calls, you find it in the forest.
Literally, I mean, it's fun. It's so
that does sound
simple.
kind of fun, but it's just a funny way to describe it.
It is, yeah. I don't know how else to describe it.
I mean, that is how you do it. Like when I was in Philadelphia, this like giant owl showed up. This white owl, it's rare apparently.
Wow, barn owl.
And me and my friends were like watching it. We're like, it was like 3 of us, all my roommates, and then the birders That's what they called themselves. They showed up, and it was this group of bird watchers, and I don't know why I think they loved birds and burgers. So like they would do like they'd go out to see birds and then go get some burgers afterwards. That was like their thing. So they called themselves the Birdgers. They were interesting. They were nice. They were really nice. But I couldn't believe when people kept showing up. It's like, and they all were from the Birdgers. Mm-hmm. And they were it was a very interesting experience. So, yeah. I don't particularly love birds, which might sound like blasphemy, but to see, at least I'm glad they have fans. They're not.
Yeah, no, they're not lost. They have an audience, and we love them. Just today at my desk in my room here, I had to look it up. Like I said, I'm not very educated on birds, but the best thing about birds, most of the time, if you just look up the qualities of it, you easily find out the type of bird. Found this beautiful bird. Is a gray catbird, which I've never heard of before, but is like beautiful, gray with like a black tail and black kind of spot on its head. And I saw it a couple of times since I've been here, but I didn't look it up till today, so that was nice.
It's your new bird friend.
Yeah. I have this family of birds at my home in Cincinnati. They have a nest, and they're finches. They're so cute.
A bunch of birds made a nest in my window, and I'm very mad at them.
Oh, no. Why? Yes. You get to watch the babies.
No, I don't get to watch them. Because there's an air conditioner in there. So it's just like, you can't see out the window, and then you're just going at 6 a.m. on the dot, and like, oh my God, shut up.
You have children. You have to...
I turn on the air conditioner.
Now. No.
Make sure they're cool.
No. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it keeps them warm, I think.
That's good.
On the outside,
yeah.
On the inside, it's nice and cool for me.
That's nice.
And I don't have to hear them. They're not nearly as annoying.
Exactly.
But sometimes they like smack the window. They're like having a good time. I think they're like,
oh my God.
They're just with their wing. They're just like, they just hit it to annoy me. They like are super quick. They'll be like making noise and then stop, and then just start smacking the window. Not even, for fun. They're having a good time in there.
Yeah, they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah. At my expense. But okay, so with my third pick, I think I'm gonna need an outline. And for some reason I think you mentioned mitosis earlier, made me start thinking of cells. So now I want a single cell thing. So my wax figurine will have all the, actually no cells, too small. I'm gonna take the Milky Way galaxy. And I'm going to need enough wax from these animals to make a Milky Way galaxy half size, half the scale. So, I'll need a Milky Way galaxy diorama, and I'll cover that with wax.
Whoa.
And it'll be like a faux galaxy that I'll shoot off into the stars to trick NASA. Things are getting kind of advanced over here.
Yeah.
On my side.
Mine is the opposite. We're getting very primitive.
Sometimes simple is better.
Yeah. We're thinking about movements. So for this fourth one, it's just gonna be bird watching, because we have to do some research. And that's just gonna be like bird watching. Okay.
Interesting pick there. I would have maybe saved that for the 6th pick of the draft. But there's only 5 picks. Yeah. But to each their own. It depends how you use them. Depends how you use these players
this is
that you pick.
I'm connecting with so many different birds and really building my skills in ways that like are not even like, it couldn't even sit on the scale of 5 because it's so valuable.
There's some, yeah. So like that's like a 10th pick, you're saying?
Like I'm saying that it is like, it's all 10 as 1 point. Bird watching.
Just the bird watching?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually a good one.
I don't know how that's going to help with your sculpture.
Okay.
But I guess if you want to take a little break and just look at the birds for inspiration, I guess that could work out.
Because the birds are going to become my friends, and they're going to be there.
Oh, they're going to help?
They're going to be at the piece. So, like, okay, think about the wax sculpture. There will be little birds, like, everywhere. that are part of the sculpture. So that's what my bird watching will give me, are birds. So
you're
I guess
using-
we could write birds too.
So you're using live animals in your sculpture. I see. That's a good. Nothing has been done before. That's interesting.
Morally, yeah. Okay. All right.
This draft is no morals inside this draft. I'm gonna have to cover the entire Milky Way in wax in order to get mine. So.
Okay. True. I can
Okay.
do whatever.
Mm-hmm. There's no moral ambiguity here. Okay, so for my fourth pick, what else are we gonna need for my sculpture? I think I'm gonna need. Oh, I know what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need some beavers to build it. Help me build. They're very good at building things, so they're natural builders.
Yeah. See, the birds are building everything for me. Like, the birds are doing everything because they're builders. The bowerbird is a builder. So I'm commissioning the bowerbirds through their bowerbird wax to create this piece.
Oh, they're like the local builders that you're hiring
Yeah. For
after you
this
steal their wax.
public commission art piece. For the
I see. Public commissioned. So.
public art piece. I don't know what
So you're making the taxpayers. You're forcing on taxpayers to pay for these birds.
Yes, yeah. They want to. It's the birds are part of the community. Everyone chose this piece.
Oh, it was democratically voted in?
Yeah.
Okay. How did the birds feel about it?
They,
Did you guys pull the birds?
They came willingly. They
Oh.
wanted to be a part of this project.
Are they being paid handsomely for this?
Yeah. All through the wage fund, like the whatever. The wage is
They're getting plenty of bird seed.
Yeah.
They're throwing almonds in there too, so they're really having a good time. And then, okay, so this is your fifth and final pick.
Yeah.
You got to bring it all together with this pick. You got birds on there. You got like 15 different types of birds on your list somehow. In 4 picks.
Yeah. Because that's what bird watching does.
I see.
I'm going to do poppy flower.
Poppy? Oh, I thought you said puppy flower, and I don't know what that is.
Could be something, I guess, because there's no limits, but
I'm
I'm just going to go with the poppy flower. This is something I really, I guess, could create.
A poppy flower? Very interesting. For my fifth and final pick, I am going to take... I'm just going to somehow use quantum theory in my...
Wow, you're too much. Whatever.
Quantum theory is going to... I'm not sure how I'm going to use it yet, but the beavers are going to figure it out. I gave them a few books in Beaver, so they'll understand. All right, so I guess describe your creation over there.
I drew out a small sketch. I have these birds on sticks with wax and the flowers hanging. And...
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like a home for the birds also once they
Yeah,
clamp
that's why
down.
it's a public art piece. This is for the birds by the birds.
Is the wax sticky so the birds get stuck and can't leave?
No,
Or
because it's the bowerbird wax.
Oh, okay. It's like spider web. So it's like anything that's not a bird gets stuck, but everything that is a bird can
Kind
leave.
of. It's only stuff they want to get stuck. Like, stuff that they don't want just doesn't get stuck to it.
I see. Okay. I give that a 9.3 out of 10.
Thank
Didn't get 10
you.
out of 10 because the birds. One too many birds on there.
Wow.
Sorry.
Whatever.
It's just general. It's just bias because
No,
I
it's
don't
fine.
love birds.
It's fine.
But I'm sure there's some. I'm sure the bird gurus would have loved that piece.
Yeah,
And
they will.
They would have commissioned like 1 million of them all over.
Yeah, maybe they will. Maybe I'll apply this to something. I did just apply for a public art sculpture yesterday. I submitted like a wax piece, but that's so funny. I should have included birds in it.
You could be like, I have an amendment to my.
Yeah, maybe if I get accepted, they'll like work with me and like let me
This is the wax
connect with
tax.
some birds locally where it's at. So we'll see.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have to trap them in. Well, first you have to get them to talk to you, so
Yeah.
the birds at least.
Well, now explain your piece.
Okay, so I didn't draw mine
That's okay.
per se, but so I have the wombat wax, the hair repellent, so it stays nice and clean. The seal wax that gets mixed in with the wombat wax, so it goes under. When it's underwater, I can do anything with it.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm gonna drop it in the ocean, this giant thing of wax, and I already have a diorama of the half scale Milky Way, and so I'm gonna drop in the middle of the ocean, and I'm gonna give these beavers saltwater masks. These beavers are accustomed to saltwater, and they're gonna make it all. I'm gonna be on top helping them every once in a while, but I'm not the beavers are just good builders. And thankfully, with the use of the quantum theory that I had taught these beavers, because I understand it perfectly what the quantum theory is, they are able to depending on if they travel at the perfect 38-degree angle, they can go through the wax to the other hand and just create this Milky Way in about 13 hours. So
Wow.
And then using the quantum theory, also all the beavers are gonna grab on, and if they all use their tail at the same time, it will launch it into space.
No way.
Really? This is quantum theory.
Quantum theory, of course.
The beavers are experts now.
Wow.
I taught them for about 35 minutes, and they just got it.
I feel like your piece wins, clearly.
I don't know if it wins, but mine is less feasible to happen in reality.
That's true. Mine is definitely doable.
Yeah. You just got to get some bird wax.
Some bowerbird wax.
Yeah. I wonder how we could create that.
You gotta watch the documentary about the bowerbirds.
The bowerbirds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was still thinking about the wax, how we were going to make it. So I was like, there must be a documentary about the bowerbird wax out there.
Clearly, yeah. They do talk about it a little bit, I think, in that. I don't know.
Good. Because we're going to need all the help we can get to make that stuff. Especially the wombat wax. That's almost impossible to
that seems like
occur naturally.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 1 ounce every 10 years is found.
It's like very processed. Like it's made by the wombat, processed by humans. Like we kind of just have to make it happen.
It's unnatural for there to be no hair and wax. So
yeah.
And considering that wombats are covered in fur, what has to happen to that wax to be just perfectly clean? Oh my God, we have hit an hour and 10 minutes of the podcast. So, thank you for playing the game. That was very fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But before we go, this is your chance to plug in all your social media, your website, shout out any organizations you want to shout out. You can just say whatever you want, basically.
Sure, yeah. So, you guys can find my work at noelmaghathe.com. I have an Instagram silly username. It's at in the shower sorry. And other than that, I don't have any specific things to call out at this moment that are calling to me.
What about your SoundCloud?
Yeah, I have a SoundCloud that has no information on it that I created in high school.
I thought it was very popular. Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's 0 followers, so I don't know. But I have some cool curated projects coming up for the rest of the year that I'm excited about. Yeah, just I'm friendly if you want to ever connect or collaborate. I love collaborations. Thanks again, Hunter,
Awesome.
and thanks Moss House for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. It was our pleasure. Unfortunately, no one is going to hear this before the thing on Monday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Because we have another podcast coming out today. But there'll be other stuff happening.
Yeah.
There'll be other.
Follow me to keep up with what I'm doing.
There'll be other Noel wax stuff to see at Moss House. I'm sure you'll probably leave some stuff behind. I'm hoping.
Yes, definitely.
So you'll be able to find some stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone, thanks for listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We got a little out of control at the end, but that's good. When you let artists start talking, that's bound to happen
Yes.
eventually. But thank you for everyone listening to Mouse House Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Begun, and we will catch you guys next time.